So much. You have a good day, sir.
You too.
Thank you for listening to Borderland, an Ironclad original. We'll see you next week.
The opinions of the guests and host are their own and do not represent the opinions of Ironclad, the Border Patrol, or the Department of Homeland Security.
Dude, this is something that is wild because it feels that it's against the logical thought of it. But when you report on the streets inside criminal organizations, it's just the way it is. They are vouching for Trump so bad because of the rhetoric of Donald Trump on the border. The rhetoric is no one's gonna come in. We're gonna deport everyone. We're gonna close the fucking border. We're gonna fix that border. If you say that, this means money for cartels. And they're like, oh, okay, so now no one's gonna come in. This is gonna become so much more expensive because we're gonna have to work so much more to get you in. We're gonna have to go to desert areas, work tunnels, do this, do that, bribe border patrol officers, and this and that. So even though that could be or not be true, well, like when a president like Donald Trump comes strong against like crossing the border, they're like, okay, here comes some money. So many of these guys are vouching for Trump because they know that when Trump was president back then, dude, they were making so much money.
We cut through the partisan talking points. We're not interested in perpetuating fear. We're interested in seeking truth and hearing what's really going on America's borderland. Welcome to Borderland, an Ironclad original. My guest today is renowned journalist Luis Chaparro. Luis is based on the U.S.-Mexico border and has been reporting on Mexican organized crime for more than 15 years. He has extensively covered activities of drug cartels and human smuggling in Mexico, providing detailed insights into their operations, leadership, and the impacts of their activities on Mexican society. Luis is a personal friend of mine, and I was excited to finally get him on the podcast. I've been trying to get him on for a while. He's a very busy man, and some of the stuff he told us today was insane. I think this is one of my favorite podcasts by far because of his personal experiences and close connection with the cartel. I think you guys really enjoyed this one. Oh man, it's been a while to try and get you on here. We're just gonna get started, man. This is gonna be a very because we've talked because I'm very familiar with your work. We'll just dig right into this. Man. How's everything been with you?
All good, man. All good. Keeping busy, you know.
Oh, for sure, for sure. The content that you create seems to be plentiful. There's tons of it out there.
Yes, man. It's just a lot, but just the way it is.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, for my audience, before we get into it, can you give them a quick bio of who you are and what you've been up to?
Absolutely. My name is Luis Chaparro. I'm a U.S. Mexico-based journalist, mostly covering drug trafficking, criminal organizations in Latin America, and immigration.
Awesome, brother. Yeah, man, your stuff has been popping up all over the place. You've talked to some of the biggest names out there. A lot of the stuff that you've been able to put out has been very beneficial for me to really kind of dig deeper into understanding, when we talk about the immigration and the cartel and the whole conversation, your journalism is always somewhere threaded into that. And I deeply appreciate your efforts in telling these stories. In recently, obviously there's new president shift, there's all kinds of things happening. And, first and foremost, what is the current topic probably that's the most that you're seeing right now that you want to report to or that you've been talking about that's probably the most concerning or important information?
I will definitely say that the intertwine between criminal organizations, also called drug cartels, I think it's just an old way to call these organizations. Like they are everything but drug cartels. So the intertwine between criminal organizations and and immigration. I think that's really the topic that it's right now keeping me most busy. First of all, because there's a new president in Mexico, so we're gonna be see what is she gonna do with the whole immigration issue, which the past president Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador had sucked at it really, and put many thousands of migrants in danger, but also citizens of both sides of the border. But also because in the past 5 6 years, immigration became one of the biggest money makers for criminal organizations in both sides of the border, which is also interesting to see developing. So right now, I think that that intertwining it's going to be very interesting to see.
On top of that, you're saying illegal immigration. We're talking also drug trafficking, but on top of that, there's something that I think is of concern for me is the potential for you know, in the illegal immigration process, there's a potential for um, terrorist organizations slipping through the cracks, right? Which causes, homeland security issues. And so, this is like a multifaceted subject that is, you and several others are out there trying to tell those stories with money being made on both sides of this. You say on the American side and the Mexican side. Is that somehow, I would say criminal organizations, are they trickling over into the United States side and becoming a solid force here in the United States to kind of help facilitate movement?
I think what is happening is that this industry, this illegal industry, we're talking about like people trying to get illegally into the US, right? Not the asylum seekers, although criminal organizations are also making some money out of them, some like extortion or
Yeah.
openly lying to them and trying to, like we'll get you through the system, right? Which is lies. But we're talking mostly all of these people who's trying to get into the US illegally and then disappear within the system inside the US.
Yeah.
This is making so much money right now that cartels found a way not to have their own people working on the US side, but to lure border citizens, border residents to make some money out of the same business and serve somewhat as clients. So the way this is working right now, the border is Mexican criminal organizations have contacts all the way through Central and South America, right? Venezuela,
Yes.
Colombia, El Salvador, etc. And then they make migrants pay for the whole trip, right? Well, when I say make, they make them. It's basically they extort them to pay for the whole trip until they get to the point of the border, like Ciudad Juarez or Tijuana, Matamoros, and then they basically outsource the rest of the trip. They share part of that money to U.S. citizens that say, okay, so we're gonna get them across, which is the hard part. But once they are across, you're gonna pick them up at the border and drive them past checkpoints to different places, right? Chicago, New York, Dallas, depends.
Yeah.
And that money, you're gonna make that money is gonna be your money, right? So, but this is the thing once you're an American citizen, start working for them as a transporter, right? You only pick up people at the border, then take them to Denver, whatever. Once you're doing that, you belong to that organization,
Yeah.
knowingly or unknowingly, right? So when you move people from for someone else, or you try to move people on your own, these guys are gonna show up and say like, "Hey, we learned that you actually moved 5 guys, 5 buddies that were not us. So first warning." And yes, man, I've been interviewing a lot of people down here in the
Really?
area of El Paso, Sunland Park, Las Cruces that have been threatened and shot at by Mexican organizations on U.S. soil.
Because these individuals who are in the American side are transporting but not realizing what organization is the owner of that, I guess, package, if I can use the term. You know, what's interesting about that conversation is that what I've seen recently is, the massive influx of immigration, which is getting just directly, the give ups. They go right to the border patrol agent, they get processed, and they claim asylum immediately and go. So that's not even part of that conversation. We're talking about people who are decisively trying to avoid detection. They were trying to evade, which makes it even scarier. those who are coming over seeking asylum, they're presenting right there at the, at the border patrol station. They're processing. They're rolling their fingerprints. They're doing all the things that they do. But the other ones who are trying to circumvent a system raise a concern. What are they hiding from? Why are they avoiding detection? And so, yeah, that becomes a very lucrative space because those are the ones who are more challenging. Those are the ones who are trying to get from a point A to point B with reason.
Exactly. And when you think about like also the amount of money these criminal organizations are requiring for these type of individuals, let's say the money starts from whatever from 5K to 15K per prison. Some of them, they do have family in the U.S. They just don't apply on the political asylum system, whatever, like Mexicans, right? Like most of the Mexicans who are trying to get into the U.S., they don't apply for political asylum. I think it's like 0.1% of a Mexican for a Mexican to have chances to apply for political asylum, which is nothing. Many of them, they say, okay, you know what? I have a cousin, I have a brother who's already living in the U.S. I'm gonna ask for money and then pay him back. They gave $5,000. There you go. I just need to get across the border and I'll find my own way there. But there's a bunch of Chinese nationals, Russian nationals, a lot of like different nationalities that are not really the usual for this continent to be getting across the border.
Yep.
Those are the guys who are paying big bucks. So now Mexican cartels, they know, they're like, okay, the Chinese are paying. I mean, let's not fuck around Mexicans right now. Let's just try now to lure in and open up our business for Chinese nationals who are the ones who are like giving us good money. The thing is, they're using fake identities, they're using fake documentation, they're using all sorts of different tricks to get across and kind of like disappear the US. And yeah, that question remains like who is these people? Why do they have so much money? Why they're bringing so much money and then trying to get across illegally and kind of disappear within the country with the help of criminal organizations, right?
Yeah, that raises a big concern, especially like you said, some of those countries that are not that's not common coming across. The uptick in Chinese nationals coming into the country. Immigration is immigration, but Chinese nationals now and who are circumventing the system, that becomes the fear of like, is this potentially some kind of orchestrated, I wouldn't say attack per se, but infiltration, like a militarized, technique, if you will.
Exactly, and more than that, like what I feel is the biggest threat. It's okay if the let's say by chance, just by chance, no one is really trying to harm the U.S. Right? Like all these are Chinese families, whatever. But the occasion makes the thief. So when you start making so much money as an organization, and then criminal organizations in China are also like, you know what? These guys are making a lot of money.
Bro,
We
we
need to
see
get
the
in on
ads,
it
bro.
too.
Okay,
But I mean,
like
if
we
we
see
have
the
the chance
ads.
to go in, we
Big
might
fucking
because there
wall.
is an opportunity, right? So this is empowering criminal organizations on the all around the world, right? This
Yeah.
is empowering Mexican criminal organizations. This is empowering gangs like Tren de Aragua in Venezuela that used to be just a gang in Venezuela. Now they're huge. Now they have power. Now they have saying across this border. Even those are the guys extorting political asylum seekers. Asylum seekers at this border. When you see the border here between Ciudad Juarez and El Paso, you have all this concertina wire set up by the Texas governor, right? So these guys cut off through this concertina wire and they set up their own checkpoints and they extort their own people. Venezuelans, okay, if you're in the list, you can go and request asylum. But if you're not on the list, well, you have to pay us. So
Ooh.
this is a money-making machine for all these, like even small to the biggest criminal organizations, and that's where I think it's the danger because there's gonna come a point where these criminal organizations are gonna be huge and empowered and billionaire
Yeah,
enterprises
nigga Steve, man.
that are gonna have a saying on what's happening on both sides of the border.
That's scary. Going back where you said that they're luring American citizens to participate in, this criminal activity. Have you seen or do you know exactly how they're luring them? Is it like Craigslist or are they putting out ads or is it just communication like by mouth?
Yeah, it's basically the old word of mouth
Even
where,
Steve Madden don't even
SkateSim
look that.
suddenly brings up a new car and you're like, dude, how the hell did you make that money to pay that car? And he's like, dude, I'm in this business and it's paying off well. because they're getting up like from 2 to 4K per person just to move them from one side of the border to another. So if you move, like, let's say my guy who I know who lives in Las Cruces and he's been doing this for the past 3 4 years, he's moving 5 to 10 people at a time. That's a lot of money he's making on a weekend, right? He moves
Yeah.
5 guys on Friday, 10 guys on Saturday, another 10 on Sunday. That's, and if they're paying 2K for by the lowest each,
Yeah.
he's making some big bucks.
Yeah, he's making a lot of money. I mean, some over 25K a month. That's a significant amount of money.
Exactly.
Wow. Yeah, it's crazy to see. I saw a story, and I know it's true to some fact, but I don't know the exact details. But there was an ad put in a Craigslist for a job, and four college kids essentially, applied for it, and they showed up, and they were actually asked to be transporting drugs for the cartel. And when they denied it, they ended up forcing them to kill each other. It was just kind of this crazy story, and I'm like, man, that's some ruthless stuff. And I'm sure this is one story of many. Is there a lot of things that happen like that with the cartel trying to get people to help transport dope?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of different ways, like that kind of way, like they're basically forcing them and to kill them if they don't. Also, I don't know if you remember, they arrested this congresswoman in Matamoros, and she had clean record. She's a congresswoman for the city of Matamoros, and she's a border crosser. And all of a sudden, she's picked up with several kilos of cocaine. She kept her mouth shut. She didn't say anything. But eventually, I guess when she felt that the U.S. government was actually protecting her, she came out and said, "Well, they forced me to do it. Like they literally showed up at my house.